before government cover-ups, before crashed saucers in the desert, before mutilated cattle and blinking lights over cornfields. There was only silence, and in that silence, they arrived, not with warships, not with fire, but with stillness, precision, surgical invasion masked as starlight. The Greys, from the Zeta Reticuli system, slender bodies, dull gray skin, enormous black eyes that seem to pierce not through you, but into you. And if eyewitnesses are to be believed, they didn't just come here to observe, they came to collect. Before government cover-ups, before crashed saucers in the desert, before mutilated cattle and blinking lights over cornfields, there was only silence. And in that silence, they arrived, not with warships, not with fire, but with stillness, precision, surgical invasion masked as starlight. The Greys, from the Zeta Reticuli system, slender bodies, dull gray skin, enormous black eyes that seem to pierce not through you, but into you. And if eyewitnesses are to be believed, they didn't just come here to observe, they came to collect. He writes, "The abduction phenomenon represents a systematic program, a program focused on control, on integration. But integration into what? You've heard of missing time. Maybe you've had it. A blank hour in traffic, a strange mark on your wrist, a repeating dream of floating, paralyzed in white light. Those aren't dreams, say some abductees. Those are memories, trauma encoded in metaphor. Because the Greys don't ask permission. They scan your genetics, freeze your body, lift you into sterile rooms, then return you before you notice." As early as the 1960s, reports surfaced of humans seeing themselves surrounded by odd, semi-human figures, beings with larger heads, oversized eyes, but clearly part human. This wasn't madness. It was the first visible wave of what abductees now call the hybridization program. Jacobs and other researchers uncovered thousands of eerily similar accounts, women reporting phantom pregnancies that vanished weeks later, men seeing children in dreams, children that looked like them but weren't, beings saying they were helping to preserve the species. Governments didn't just ignore these stories, they neutralized them. Witnesses were mocked, pilots discredited, professors laughed out of academia, but behind closed doors there were files, photographs, metal fragments, unexplainable radiation traces from craft that weren't supposed to exist. And the most damning truth? The same gray craft appear everywhere. Brazil, Russia, Zimbabwe, Utah. They weren't testing us, they were already here. Despite their reputation for emotionless detachment, abductees often describe an eerie kind of purpose in their captors. The Greys don't improvise, they don't deviate. They collect, observe, implant, erase. It's like a lab, and we are the specimens. And yet, some return with more than scars. They return with downloads, flashes of alien language, diagrams of DNA helixes, visions of Earth drowning in its own pollution. Are the Greys warning us, or priming us for replacement? Many believe the Greys are not acting out of malice, but out of desperation. The Zeta Reticuli system, some suggest, suffered a collapse. Genetic engineering led to sterility. Entire generations now rely on cloning, and it's failing. They need emotion, they need instinct, they need something human. So they don't harvest our crops, they harvest our essence. That's what this infiltration really is, a search for what they've lost. But if they get it, what happens to us? We always expected alien invasion to come with fire, but it came with forgetting. And in the next act, we'll explore how the Greys went from surgical abductions to something far more permanent, embedding among us. If you want to know how deep this goes, stay tuned for Act 2, the hybridization directive, creating a new species. The abductions were never random. They weren't curiosity, they weren't conquest, they were a breeding program. From the 1960s onward, thousands began reporting eerily similar experiences, being taken aboard craft, subjected to invasive procedures, and shown beings, infants, toddlers, even adolescents, that were described as almost human, but not quite. Pale skin, large eyes, fragile builds, emotionally distant, but aware. These weren't hallucinations. They were part of a transgenerational effort, a directive, one focused on hybridization, the blending of human and gray DNA. Consider this. Women across the world who'd never met, from different cultures, religions, and education levels, began reporting the same impossible story. A sudden pregnancy, a mysterious disappearance weeks later, and then, years later, a dream, or an abduction, where they met a child, their child. This child would reach for them, study them, try to mimic their emotions. Dr. David Jacobs, in Walking Among Us, documented dozens of such cases. He didn't just catalog dreams. He recorded trauma, grief, repetition. Patients in hypnosis broke down not out of confusion, but recognition. They'd been used, and their children weren't on Earth. Not yet. Jacobs outlines hybrid generational progression, a systematic development of increasingly human-like hybrids over decades. 1. Early-stage hybrids, largely gray in appearance, nonverbal, emotionless. 2. Mid-level hybrids, shorter heads, smaller eyes, limited emotion, basic human interaction. 3. Hybrids, nearly indistinguishable from humans, fully verbal, highly intelligent, sent here to live among us. Not theory, not fiction, testimony of hundreds under regression. All describe being instructed by Greys to teach these beings how to pass. What if you've met one already? Hybrids are trained to mimic, to pass, to charm, to manipulate. According to Jacobs, some abductees report being taken on walkabouts, escorting hybrids through supermarkets, subway stations, even schools, to train them in human behavior. If you think you'd know if you met one, consider this. They're socially awkward, yet strangely magnetic. They speak fluently but lack emotional nuance. They often don't understand humor or sarcasm, but they try. They ask probing questions, and they remember everything. These aren't alien tourists. They're operatives. So, why do the Greys need hybrid emotion? Because their civilization lost it. Through cloning, neural engineering, abandonment of biology, they severed themselves from instinct, empathy, soul. They believe humanity's greatest strength, emotion, is its most dangerous. But it's the one thing they can't replicate, so they're trying to inherit it. Abductees describe being forced to hold hybrid infants, to soothe them, project emotion while Greys watch. Record, study. Emotion is not genetic. It's learned, and the Greys are desperate to learn. In recent years, reports shifted. Less abduction, more infiltration. Abductees report hybrids moving into apartments, enrolling in schools, holding down jobs. They're being watched over by abductees instructed to help them adapt. Jacobs documents cases of handlers, humans forced into double lives, guiding hybrids while terrified of breaking the agreement. One woman claimed she was told, "The integration is beginning. Soon they won't need to hide." Integration, not with permission, but with programming. The Zeta Reticuli reports compile dozens of early contactee and abductee cases with diagrams, regression transcripts, frequency maps. The patterns are clear. This isn't just collection, it's colonization. The hybridization directive is nearing completion. The children have been raised. The hybrids walk among us. And the Greys? They're watching, silently, waiting to trigger the next phase. But what is that phase? And more importantly, who's really in control? In Act 3, we explore what happens when control shifts from infiltration to domination, psychological, political, spiritual. As Earth's resonance grid reawakens, a darker operation accelerates, the hybrid invasion. Historian Dr. David M. Jacobs, drawing on over 1,000 abduction events, believes the alien agenda isn't benevolent. It's reproductive. These hybrids, human alien offspring, are integrated into society as part of a covert colonization strategy. According to Jacobs, abductees consistently describe child presentation rituals. They're shown hybrid children in nurseries and encouraged to bond with them. The hybrids later appear in schools, stores, and homes, indistinguishable from us. Imagine sharing a train with someone who isn't fully human, and no one notices. Integration is silent, not violent. Hybrids are trained to shop, speak, and behave human until they pass seamlessly among us. Beneath it all lies a web of biological interference. Jacobs details DNA decoy tactics, false spiritual downloads scramble your system. People awaken, then crash into confusion and apathy. It's psychic sabotage. In The Threat, Jacobs documents these tactics with chilling precision. Link in the description. As the program deepens, abductees describe increasing mind manipulation, amnesia, sleep disruption, emotional fragmentation. Jacobs, once a history professor, used hypnosis and regression to map these experiences. At the 1999 UFO Abduction Conference, he revealed a chilling pattern: capture, examination, genetic harvesting, child presentation, and return. Around 5 to 6% of Americans report experiences matching this sequence. That's millions of people, possibly billions worldwide, carrying a lineage they don't remember. In Walking Among Us, Jacobs details hybrids in classrooms and offices, normal at first glance. But many abductees report uncanniness, a blank stare, mechanical empathy, strange behavior. These hybrids hold on to parts of their alien coding. The result? Ghost-like humans who act with purpose. And Jacobs warns, it's not just individuals. The hybrids are being groomed to take roles in government, media, and finance. This is infiltration from the inside out, a cultural fifth column. Evidence is mounting. Jacobs has recorded over 300 abductee testimonies showing the same hybrid behavior: nursery presentation, emotional imprinting, mundane skill building. Abductees recall showing hybrids how to drive, shop online, make jokes. These aren't one-offs, they're coordinated. The goal? Prepare hybrids to integrate without detection. Health anomalies like missing time, surgical scars, and fertility manipulation appear across all cases, spanning cultures and languages. This is not random, it's systemic. What if the next person you interview or date isn't fully human? What if they've been trained to mimic your emotions but not feel them? That's the ethical crisis we face. Hybrids aren't inherently evil, but they're often emotionless. Some abductees report hybrids showing confusion or sadness. This suggests human memory isn't gone, it's repressed. There's still hope. Those fragments of humanity could help disrupt the program from within. The battle isn't just biological, it's spiritual. Jacobs believes the hybrid program is entering its final phase. Integration is accelerating. The Greys want it completed within a generation, or risk failure. This urgency means more hybrids entering human society with fewer safeguards. That means more exposure, but also more danger. It's a race against time for both sides, but humanity isn't defenseless. Some hybrids are waking up, some humans are remembering. The memory war is escalating, and the next act shows who our allies are. In Act 4, we follow the starseed lineages that counterbalance the hybrid agenda: Pleiadians, Nordics, and other benevolent networks aiding humanity's resistance. We'll explore their codes, their appearances, and the practices they use to help humans re-anchor sovereignty. These aren't myths. They're cosmic bloodlines awakening in those ready to listen. The Draco didn't just wage war, they moved in. Not on the battlefield, but in our bloodstream, institutions, and families. This phase is insidious, silent. By 2003, David Jacobs revealed that hybrid beings are already living among us. They walk neighborhoods, work jobs, blend into communities. Their integration isn't overt, It's clinical and purposeful. And our society is the petri dish. In Walking Among Us, Jacobs shares that hybrids are trained by abductees to drive, shop, work. No visible oddities, no immediate flags. They're taught to pass as human. Jacobs studied over 1,150 abductions with more than 150 participants. Each abduction aligns with a hidden agenda: create hybrids who blend, replicate, root within human society. Jacobs quotes, "Soon we will all be together. Everyone will know his place." The recurring detail, the child presentation. Abductees are shown hybrid children, products of gray-human unions, presented in sterile settings. These children, emotional and human-like, are conditioned to bond and age naturally across encounters. Jacobs frames this not as happenstance, but systemic breeding. Hybrids conditioned to adapt, reproduce, and embed themselves in global society. By 2015, abductions began declining while hybrid sightings increased. Proof the program advanced from genetic tinkering to social infiltration. Hybrids exhibit childlike naivete combined with calculated dutifulness. They attend schools, attend meetings, build lives. Jacobs emphasizes this is strategic, a long game of influence from within, not overt invasion. Jacobs supports his claims with case files and regression data. Critics point to hypnosis concerns, but many abductees also show physical evidence: scars, radiation burns, implants. The child presentation detail repeats across demographies and cultures, suggesting intention rather than coincidence. The pattern is consistent. Why implant hybrids? Jacobs warns they serve as surrogate agents of control, embedded in families and systems to subtly shift norms and policies. This is a silent takeover on the inside. It doesn't require force, just infiltration. How to defend? Jacobs advises, recognize the pattern, trust unusual experiences, document anomalies, scar marks, lost time, vivid hybrid dreams, and speak out to break isolation and build collective awareness. Disclosure begins with personal story. The Threat by David Jacobs provides in-depth case studies revealing hybrids woven into our society. Disturbing, urgent, essential. Link in description. Jacobs views this moment as pivotal. Humanity either awakens or drifts deeper into manipulation. By exposing this silent agenda, we have the chance to shift the trajectory. Why now? The hybrid agenda is speeding forward. As global division and spiritual amnesia spread, these beings can anchor themselves as norms. Jacobs argues awareness now is critical, before it's irreversible. Hybrids trained to pass as human. Child presentation as breeding. Evidence via abductee records. Agenda. Silent takeover. Jacobs's research warns us. In Act 5, we'll explore the counter-strategies, how Arcturians and other starseed networks are responding, and what you can do to disrupt this hybrid program and reclaim human sovereignty. Why now? The hybrid agenda is speeding forward. As global division and spiritual amnesia spread, these beings can anchor themselves as norms. Jacobs argues awareness now is critical, before it's irreversible. Hybrids trained to pass as human. Child presentation as breeding. Evidence via abductee records. Agenda. Silent takeover. Jacobs's research warns us. In Act 5, we'll explore the counter-strategies, how Arcturians and other starseed networks are responding, and what you can do to disrupt this hybrid program and reclaim human sovereignty. The Draco hybrid network aims to integrate through us, not invade from outside. But there's resistance. Benevolent intelligences, Arcturians, Lyrans, even cooperative Greys are actively countering the infiltration. And you have a role to play in sovereign defense. 1. Hybrid awakening triggers. David Jacobs and other researchers report many hybrids experience emotional turmoil when they encounter awakened humans. Walking Among Us. That emotional flash is destabilizing. It disrupts programming. Healing circles, compassion, Collective presence break resonance locks before integration can root. Second Galactic Council interference leaked testimonies in the Bibliotheca Pleiades archives describe gray emissaries disrupting Draco nodes under cities like Phoenix, Turin, and Buenos Aires. This shows some non-human factions assist humanity, even sabotaging Draco integration efforts. 3. Quantum shielding practices. Arcturian-aligned protocols include pulse inversions using alternating 417 Hz and 963 Hz tones, threshold codes inside sacred geometry like a dodecahedron with affirmations such as, "I remember my origin beyond this form." A gift from the stars mentions contact workers using these to protect abductees from hybrid implantation. 4. Healing implant removal. Abductees often carry implants, tiny transceivers placed subcutaneously. Physicians like Drs. Roger Lear and Melinda Leslie have removed hundreds, documenting via X-ray and analysis. Removal correlates with intense hybrid dream sequences, linking implants to emotional manipulation and control. 5. Civilian contact networks. Support groups operate peer-to-peer circles, not to encourage abductions, but to validate experiences and share reintegration strategies. Participants regain lucid dreams, emotional stability, and empathic resistance. These aren't cults, they're sovereignty communities using legal safeguards, DNA grounding, and frequency entrainment. Collective sovereignty steps. Document implant cases, hybrid dreams, anomalies. Host resonance workshops using tone, geometry, compassion. Support research into implants removal. Integrate dream recall. Your memory anchors data. For a deeper dive into Draco infiltration and how to resist, start with The Threat by David Jacobs. Links in the description. Why this matters now. We're at a crossroads. If hybrids root, the narrative shifts long-term. Draco wanted takeover through integration, not force. But this can be halted in this generation through awareness, healing, and energetic sovereignty. Recap: hybrids' emotional resonance can be disrupted. Benevolent alien species assist. Implant removal is critical sovereignty. Step resonance communities act as harmonic shields. Frequency, not force, is the front line. In Act 6, we'll complete the arc, Lyran rebirth and human sovereignty. We'll reclaim cosmic lineage, celebrate planetary ascension, and preview next week's video, Nordic aliens, watchful protectors. The final curtain falls, but it's not an ending. It's a rebirth. After centuries of hidden wars, psychic suppression, and genetic tampering, humanity stands at the threshold of remembering. And the Lyran legacy, the original vibrational seed, rests in your cells, waiting. 1. The Lyran frequency rising solar flares spike. Schumann resonance vibrates higher, dreams intensify. These are cosmic tuning forks, signals of Earth's shift into a higher octave. People weep at sunrises, dream of crystalline cities, sing to stars. These aren't anomalies, they're memory activation symptoms. 2. Embodied sovereignty protocols. Rebirth is daily recalibration. Try this. Before rising, whisper, "I remember Lyra" 3 times. Write 3 gratitudes and sing from the heart. 639 to 741 Hz. Walk barefoot, imagining roots to Earth's crystalline grid. Sleep with 528 Hz and visualize your star ancestry. These are Lyran threads reweaving you. 3. The memory web, grid activation. Small groups align during solstices and equinoxes, holding intention, prayer, frequency. Dream-sharing networks trade geometry visions. Resonance mapping teams document high-energy nodes, stone rings, waterfalls, old cities. You don't need a temple, you need truth, coherence, and a will to remember. 4. Repatterning civilization systems are shifting. Schools add sacred geometry clubs. Healing centers explore sound-based medicine. Some local governments value coherence over control. Systems are made of us. As our frequency rises, their shape must change. or collapse. 5. The Lyran Protocol Surge. The Lyran strategy is simple. Plant seeds, let frequency grow, flood the grid with coherence. Star seeds arrive daily, children seeing patterns, elders dreaming crystal halls. These aren't accidents. These are returns. 6th Galactic Trailblazers and our role. You are a node in the cosmic web. Each activation reawakens the Lyran network. Arcturians, Pleiadians, benevolent Greys, they don't lead, they listen. The Galactic Treaty says Earth's rise allows open contact, but only if we earn it through coherence. 7. Frequency Justice, reclaiming the soul. Final activation isn't external, it's internal resolve. Reject trauma loops, don't bypass your pain, ground daily, speak truth in tone. This isn't theory, it's survival. You are the timeline, you are the Lyran memory. For deeper insight into the human soul under siege, read The Greys. Zeta Reticuli reports at Bibliotheca Pleiades, link below. It's one of the clearest maps to understanding the hybrid infiltration and starseed reawakening. And next week, we begin a new journey. Nordic aliens, watchful protectors. Who are they? Why have they been observing Earth? And what role do they play in our galactic reunion? Subscribe to anchor the Lyran wave. This channel isn't entertainment, it's an activation. Welcome back, welcome forward, welcome home.